Start this video right now. London Grammar. Help me lose my mind. Purple TH900s. Fuck. Okay, so purple, 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 purple. Oh. So, all right. Let me show you what my dream has always been. Dethonray honey. BTR 7. Kith. Pegasus. SG-1. Okay, so, history lesson. This is one of the best sounding things in my house. Amp DAC combo. Portable. Battery powered. USB only. This is the Dethonray honey. And it's beautifully built, remarkably like, whatever they did to the aluminum in this is better than all the other aluminum that's ever been aluminum. Right? And it's got this nice knob, and it goes click, and then the lights, and then the wire it came with was actually nice. And it had 2 USBs, and you plug it into your phone, and it's obviously gigantic. But what came out of this was fucking exceptional. Problem was, it was $900, $800? It was a lot of dollars for something that you have to carry around with your phone, like so. And I was trying to think of the way to put this. Dethonray products are like Italian sports cars. When they work, when they're on, you are never going to have a better experience in the earth. But when they're not on, there's a reason. There's a devil. So there was one other Dethonray product before the Prelude. Before the this Pegasus. It was the Prelude, not the Honda Prelude. That was a great car. There was the Dethonray Prelude, which was their DAP, and I thought, okay, I didn't like hooking this up. I literally had this plugged it on my desk to my main computer as my desktop DAC amp. That's how fucking good it was. But updating the firmware was a nightmare, and it would turn on and then not turn on. And the light. We're gonna get to it because the same features are in this one. But the Prelude, that stupid fucking DAP that looked like it was from 1999, sounded great. Couldn't use it. It was $1,000. It should have been $300. I sold it in a yard sale. Get the shit out of here. Yard sales, 1st to the 10th of every month. Anyone who's a supporter of this channel for $5 or more. So I sold a $1,000 DAP. I think a guy bought it for $300. So congratulations on your $700 savings. Thank you for the yard sales, 1st to 10th of every month. I ship for free, continental United States and Canada. Half shipping international. And then we moved on, and I was like, all right, Dethonray had a one-hit wonder with this, and I'll love it forever. So then someone pointed me at this existing on Linsol, and I was like, Linsol. I woke them up. It was middle of the night. Linsol. Wake up, Linsol. Fucking send me this! Okay, and then they were like, oh, sure, absolutely, 100%. And I got it only a few days ago. The best reviews, the best Z reviews, are when I rush to do it because I am either excited or angry. And this is kind of both. This is kind of one of those both reviews. Both is an L in that word, right? Also, I want to point out that the Z Reviews Z12 Gold Edition of the Let's Sure Z12s is out. Here they are. Look at them. Oh! And I should also probably point out the sponsor of today's video is Hard Audio Cable. Even though we're going to talk about the cable that comes with the Z12s, if you want to get into it, Hard Audio Cable is having a sale from the 16th to the 30th of September in the year of our Lord 2022. Where are we? And I'm showing off their old line of IEM cables. This is basically just their headphone cables with IEM connectors on it. And we've got them here on, these are the FH7s. I have the FH7Ss over there. And these are the OH10s because fuck you, I'll never sell those. And they are just hard audio cables, which means you get to use hard audio connectors. There's a new NK series that actually use lightweight actual IEM-ish type cables. So there's that. Those will be 15% off with the code HAC3 year because it's their 3rd year anniversary. Congratulations, Hard Audio Cables, on that. So yeah, you can get all sorts of things. In fact, the cable I'm using on this purple set of TH900s is a hard audio cable on an extension that runs here into the 4.4 Pentagon adapter of this. And they're wonderful. They're wonderful. They're wonderful and adaptive, and I can't wait to get some of their new cable line. It's going to be fantastic. So look for links for the Z12 Gold and the hard audio cable stuff in the description. Meanwhile, let's go back to this $400 box. It's $400. So that's half the cost of the honey. Great. And it's got Bluetooth? Sold. Not even a question. But Zeos, the Griffin exists. I had to bring this down because it was upstairs charging because I wanted to use it. Because when the times were darkest, when we had the BTR5 and that was it, BTR3, BTR3K, BTR5, then we had the dark times and the BTR5 got upgraded to support MQA, and I was just like, my heart. I had the Direct was the one Bluetooth thing that I found recently that was like, that's pretty good. We had the IFI Griffin, which is a Bluetooth DAC amp from IFI. And this thing is fucking chock full of features. Chock full, I don't know, of nuts. What does chock mean? What do you chock full of something? I don't understand. 3.5 balance, you've got X bass, X space, you got multiple inputs, you got IE match, you got multiple, look at this fucking bass and presence, you got line outs, you got balance and single-ended outputs, and this thing is fucking crammed full of features. That's the Japanese supercar. And this is the Italian supercar. Much nicer built. Like, here's the thing. I say nicer built, but the corners in this are sharp. Like, I don't think they're gonna cut me, but they're gonna remove skin if I drop it on myself. But this aluminum, it's the same as this one. Whatever their process is, Dethonray has got the fucking patent on making shit feel expensive. So it's this aluminum box, aluminum alloy with slightly sharp corners. This was beautifully rounded. I don't know why they didn't just round the corners like they did here, but they didn't. So you got slightly sharper corners. Does not come with almost any accessories. We'll take a tour of the unit real quick. Why is my table so like gonna kill everything today? Purple, like this, just look at these colors, all right? Why is Dethonray one of my favorite companies? I don't know, maybe because it doesn't feel like I'm living in a world of just gray death. Silver, black, and gray. You know what silver and black mixed together make gray? Purple. Gold. So you pick this up and you automatically feel like it's $400 is a steal just for the holding it. And then you see that knob. Do you see this knob? Do you see this volume knob? That's a triangle. It's like a rotary shaped triangle on top. Then it round on the bottom and knurled. And when you, I'd click it off, but I don't want it to disconnect. It goes click. It goes click. I am currently feeding it with the BTA 30 Pro from Apos with white light on, which means LDAC to this. And all right, we'll tour it. We'll tour the unit. I guess we'll start here where there's nothing. And it's the nicest nothing you'll ever fucking see. Like the edge here is fine. There's no sharpness here. Then you get to that corner. And it's like, oh, it's like fine machine. My brother's a machinist, or was a machinist. Still has the skills of a machinist. And he will touch this and go, So that's the only side that has nothing going on, except for this side, which has nothing going on. The bottom, 2 screws, USB-C for charging. Only charging. This will not act as a DAC if you plug it in. You also do the firmware update, and I say firmware update, but what I really mean is sound tuning and firmware update. We'll get to it. You get this, it's currently a green LED. It'll turn blue once it's below 80%. I think 80 to 100 is green, and then 30 to 80 is blue. And then under 30% battery, it's red. And when you plug it in, it turns red. Actually, when you plug it in, it turns red on top of whatever color is here. So it'll actually be orange if I plugged it in right now. We come to this side, which is, ooh, the fancy side. We've got a high-low gain switch, which, can you listen? Listen? Ah. There's not a single switch on here that'll make that sound. No. Like it's making a sound, but that's metal hitting metal in perfectly machined form. Like it's, you just sit there, you're fine. So high-low gain, low. It's the buttons all machined. Actually very hard to dent them apart, and you think this is a button sometimes. So again, Italian. Assume this is Italian. It's definitely not Italian. It's Chinese. But assume it's Italian, because that'll put you in the right mindset. So you have next track, last track, and play pause. Now the unit supposedly sits like this with the buttons on top. However, this is next track. The top one is next track, and the bottom one is last track, or repeat. The middle is pause. And it's backwards from every other unit on the face of the fucking earth. But I don't mind it, because if I leave this in my pocket, which is what you're going to probably do, when I reach down, I only have to hit the very top button and hit next. I don't have to figure out if it's this or that. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with that being next track on top. Whatever. The top. The fucking knob. This knob. I don't know what type of shape this is. It's something that I want to play with on a 3D printer, though, because it's a slightly rounded triangle with a perfectly round bottom, and it just like connects like a piece of artwork. And then I figured this out while using it yesterday. There's a divot there. Let me take the camera off my head and see if I can figure that. Hold on, all right, now we're in narrow. There is a divot. Do you see that little, right on the edge of that point there? I don't know if I could even get it to focus. There's a little tiny pinhole that indicates the direction that we are pointing. And that doesn't need to be there, but it's right there. I wish I could, can I focus? Can I make the zoom? I don't know how to make GoPros do anything. But anyway, there's the world's smallest indicator. I have a big problem with indicators don't exist. Like that's an indicator, that's an indicator, that's an indicator I filled in with white. That is an indicator, and it's the size of a pinhead, and I'm not fucking joking or exaggerating. So that little indicator there is supposed to indicate the direction this volume knob is turned, even though there's no indicator around it to say what it's doing. But, you know, that's just, this is America, and this is what Italians would do. Hold on, let me finish. So now that we've discussed these world's smallest indicator, like seriously the smallest indicator, that little thing. So that will tell you that it's either going to go click and be off, or up and be maximum volume. So there's no indicator and you really can't tell. But let me tell you something. The shape of this is the most congruent to touching I've ever felt. Because of what I just did there, look, you push it, and you push it. You get like 3 notches. You just push these points around, and it's just the most absolutely fucking satisfying volume. It also turns like a $2,000 fucking unit would turn. It isn't like scratchy, 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 or click, 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 click. It's like, oh. 4.4 out, 3.5 out. The front of it. Here, well, I guess this is the front. I don't know. This has like the serial, like SG-1, wireless player, Dethonray Honey, all the bullshit on it. I assume this is the front, and it's glass, because you can't make an aluminum chassis be Bluetooth, because you can't get Bluetooth to go through aluminum. So they had to make some part of it glass or plastic, and they're not going to make this plastic. They're Dethonray. So it's a matte black glass that collects fingerprints. And for a reason only known to God and Italian designers, the Dethonray logo isn't here or in the dead center in the upper right. It's just randomly there. And it has a blue LED to tell you what the Bluetooth status is. Just blue. It blinks when it's connecting, and it's solid blue when it's on. And then this is battery indicator, so that's your power indicator. Randomly, 12% to the left of center and 21% down. No idea why. I'm gonna get a fucking waifu sticker. As soon as this review is over, I'm gonna figure out what to waifu this thing, and I'm gonna fucking cover it. Because that's the dumbest shit since dumb came to Dumbtown. And yeah, that's the tour. Nothing, buttons and nothing, beautiful fucking knob. Like it's a little bit pointy, and I just want to keep stabbing myself with it. If you want to stab yourself with beauty, like that's what this feels like. And then the bottom. So what do we talk about? How it sounds, because it sounds better than most portable DAPs. Like I love my Ibasso players and my M11Ss, and I love everything Shanley makes, but nothing ever sounded as good as the Dethonray Honey. So the fact that they have a Honey now, a good chunk of the Honey, maybe not all the Honey, but they got a good chunk of what the Honey's soul was, crammed into this little guy for $400, means that it sounds like fuck. Like just pick up some TH100s, which are very hard to amp, and then look at them, and then look at this, and then look at them, and look at this, and go, okay, you're pretty much the best pairing. However, That's literally all I have to say about sound. Like, what comes out of this sounds smoother and it sounds Rupert Nev-ish. And I said that about the A90D. And you know what? This is slightly more smooth than the A90D. I don't know what that means. It's not as linear, it's not as accurate, not as powerful, whatever you want to dance around the fucking issues. I like the way this sounds more than a lot of things. Like 90% of things I have in this house. Like 90%. I'm looking over there, I'm like, yeah, no, better than you. Oh, better than you. You know, it's still better. It's better. It's better. If Dethonray makes a desktop amp, it'll be the only amp I fucking own. Moving on to the actual sound. Because here's the thing. I remember I talked about firmware updates. So unlike the IFI, which has 95 switches and buttons and knobs and a fucking screen and you could change menu items, the way Dethonray does it is if you want to change the sound profile of your unit, you reflash the firmware. And currently, there are 3. There was the original Rhapsody. It's called the Pegasus. But the firmware is called the Rhapsody. And then in August, which is last month, they came out with 2 new firmwares, which is good because when I got this unit, the volume knob lagged by 3/4 of a second because it's digital. Now, to put that through your head right now, I got this unit, I plugged it in, it sounded great, I turned it up, and it lagged and went, and I complained to my patrons. If you're in the $10 patron chat, for $10 a month on Patreon subscribe, so you get into the chat where I complain the day of things happening. So everyone was like freaking out. And I'm like, I know it's so good, but it's like this. So I go and I find there's a new firmware, put the firmware on there, fixes that. Now the volume actually goes up when you're turning it. It was literally hilarious. It was like, here's the physical knob and here's the emotional knob from my soul. And I was like, be louder. All right, I'll be louder. Be lower. All right, I'll be lower. Be louder. Be louder. Be loud. It just lagged behind. It was hilarious and terrifying. Because if you got something that was too loud, you cranked it and it was like, yeah, I'll do it now. I was fucking not going to have it. In fact, I even asked for their email because I was like, Linsol, give me their fucking email. I want to yell at them. And luckily the firmware fixed it, but I'm still going to yell at them in the email for other things. So there's 2 firmwares you can load on this right now. The Rhapsody and the Serenade. So I uploaded the Rhapsody because that was the original one. There was a name called Rhapsody. It's Rhapsody. The one that's on there right now is Rhapsody. The process is you get this installer. They actually have a website. Like you can't, there's like, Topping doesn't really have a website. Xdo, I mean, they have websites, but it's like, it always feels like foreign, like the FIO website. Dethonray actually has a website where it's like, hey, here's our products and here's our downloads. It's like, ooh. Considering how impossible some of this shit is, it's nice to have that. So you go to it, you go to downloads for this unit, and you go here, and here's the firmware, and here's the newest firmware. And you open it up, and there's an EXE, and you run it, and a fucking program opens in Chinese. And luckily the word language is still there in English, and you go language, English. And then the instructions on the PDF are like, you got to hit this button, and then you got to make sure this is the thing that's set, and then you find the thing that's also in the thing, and then you hit go. So this has to be on, you plug it in USB-C, it doesn't act as a DAC, it doesn't even really get recognized on Windows. There's a driver you have to install or don't have to install. I don't remember which way it went. And basically you just load it, I want this firmware, go. And it takes about 12 seconds to be done. And then you unplug it, you turn this off, you wait 10 seconds, you turn it back on, and now you've loaded that new firmware. So the Rhapsody one is the one I'm praising right now. It's fucking amazing. Everything that this does sounds like God, and I'm probably taking this to SoCal Can Jam just to have it on me. The other one, the Serenade, I tried that today for the first time for about 30 minutes. And I loaded it up, and I had these. I was rocking the OH7s with the stock cable, and I should have moved the cable to a nice Hart audio cable because they do. When I get the new IEM cables from Hart, I'm sure I'll switch it over. Oh, this is a fucking baller. Remember these things? They look like Xerxes headphones, 10mm dynamic, $900. And these were the bass kings of Minnesota. I don't know why Minnesota, just the bass kings of. And I had them playing for 25 minutes before I switched to Serenade. I was on Rhapsody. I switched to Serenade with those, and I'm just sitting there like, is this good? What is this? It took me a minute. It took me a while, and I changed it, and I changed it back. And I changed it back off of Serenade to Rhapsody, and then I realized what it was. The other firmware for this is so brutally soft. Like, Serenade is literally to put you to sleep. Everything sounded softer and further apart and wider. Usually things I like. But I was listening to IMs that are already soft and wide. So what that does, what Rhapsody is perfect for everything, except if you have like if I had LCD 5s still here, I'd put them on Serenade and it'd probably fix them perfectly. Just a wider, softer jet serenade me. If your headphones are harsh or your IMs are harsh and you're just like, you know what? I just want to chill, because X-Bass brings up bass and 3D sound can add width, but nothing really, like, you can EQ things out, but whatever the fuck, because that's the thing. The firmware isn't just changing an EQ curve. The firmware is changing the way the DAC works and the way the PPPU, hold on. They have a thing called the Desktop Plus Power Unit, or the DPPU. It's an advanced power system designed for high-fidelity sound performance with independent suppliers to the digital and analog circuits, similar to a high-end DAC and amp system, but with minimal path and hard soldered points, no compromises, blah, 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 eliminates digital circuit noise, whatever. The point is, you don't just reprogram an EQ curve. You reprogram how the DAC works and how the amplifier works. So the firmware, which you can't edit, although it's just a hex file, I guess if you could figure out how that worked, you could. The firmware on it changes everything about it. So it fixed the fucking volume knob, thankfully, but it also changes like how the thing works internally, because it should not have done what it did that severely. Like, it was a severe, like, I don't even know what headphone I'd put on it to test that with. Like, what headphone don't I like? What headphone's a little bit too sharp, a little bit too rough, a little bit too aggressive? Whatever that headphone is, fixed. So swap that back over to the original Rhapsody or the new. I'm waiting for the next one to come out, because I'd love to see them do one that's just like, yeah, we did a bass boosted version, not just softer, like the same details, maybe a little more, because it feels like I'm waiting like Boocart when you're waiting on the sound profiles to download. Luckily, you plug it in and just you run the program, you hit go, and it goes. It's no problem with that. And on this one, it was a fucking nightmare because of the two USB-Cs. There's the data one and the charging one. And when you want to flash this one, obviously you don't plug it into the data one, silly. You plug it into the charging one that's labeled charging. I couldn't figure that shit out. That was dumb. So yeah, we got a unit here. It's a unit. I'm excited. You can tell when Zeos is excited. In fact, I'm so excited, let's plug in one of my favorite headphones of all time, Koss KPH40s, with Taconi pads, with holes punched in them for reasons. I'll explain it at some point in the video. We're going to go into the 3.5. Oh, a little bit of like noise I was picking up on this when I was on high gain, right next to my phone. Just a little bit of noise. And then it went away. When I first turned it on, the very first time I turned it on, it connected to my phone, and no sound came out of it. Again, Italian sports car. Turned it off, turned it back on again, was fine. I haven't had that sort of problem since. Spoiler alerts, this is the first time these headphones have been on this device, on my head. Evil Dead. Hail, and titles. And it's just... These headphones scale. If you don't know what scaling is, I'll explain it one more time. The better the equipment you plug these headphones into, the better they sound. $1,000 amp, $2,000 amp, $10,000 amp, they sound better and better and better. That's what scaling is. And these sound fucking amazing. What are we on? Low gain? We're not even on high gain. Hold on. Switch. Oh, another issue. And even with the new firmware, this happens. So I'm on... Here, wait. I'll put the headphones by you. Low gain. Did you hear a change? No, you didn't. Because you have to articulate the knob. And then the thing changes. So you literally switch from low to high or high to low, and it just waits like a cocked gun. You're like, high gain. Bang. As soon as you turn the knob, if it was on low gain, it's now on high gain. If it's on high gain, it's too loud, you switch to low, and you move it, and then it drops to low gain. Italian sports car. Best analogy I can give you. Let's, hold on. Led Zeppelin's Moby Dick. What is this? Samuel Kim, the Boba Fett theme from The Mandalorian. Remember when Star Wars didn't suck and Mandalorian was the best thing about it? Yeah, no, there's so many problems with this thing that I should be giving it an review. Like, it's got some issues. It's got some issues. It's got a little couple bit like little sharp, but the sound quality out of this fucking unit puts the BTR-7, the fucking Griffin, basically everything to shame. Just haha. Just you failed. I'm rushing this review. Usually I'll put off a review, so they have time to do things. Like I wanna play with that for another week or two, then I'll do the review. Not this. Get this review shoveled out. Did I figure it? I got it. I turned it on. It failed immediately, and then I complained, and then I hammered, and then I figured it out, and now I've unlocked pure fucking bliss. Pure bliss. Pure fucking $400 and... Please, Dethonray, if you're watching this, which you should be, a desktop unit or a dock to mount these things in. Something so gives me a 4-pin XLR that I can have a knob. And oh my God, could you imagine how nice their knob would be? Ugh. I don't care if it's 1,500, 2,000, 4,000, just whatever it takes. I'm unplugging that. I'm putting this back to low gain. I'm turning the knob so that it actually initiates low gain, or else it just would still be on high gain, just stuck there. Let's put OH10s. Using the hard audio cables, we're going to put on our adapter, which is a 4.4 right angle. I'm going to cram that bitch in there. I'm going to slap these suckers over my ears. I haven't listened to these things in months. There's earwax in here from when Chewbacca was still around. By the way, if you missed that news, Chewbacca passed away on October 4th, 2021. So we'll have to do something special for her, I don't know, death anniversary doesn't seem like a thing you want to celebrate. All right, we've maxed out low gain. These might require high gain. That's another thing. Low gain is very low and high gain is very high. Before I did the firmware update, it was a little bit closer and not as powerful, so they definitely unlocked some power. I know on this, one of the firmware changes was like, oh, do you want super power mode? Like where it's doubling the output power? Because we could change that in firmware. And it was like, yeah? Unfortunately, this is just annoying to try to deal with. What is that? It's terrible. Oh man, OH10s. Let me just roll that knob with my fingertip. No other company could pull off a triangular knob that feels this good. Evangelion. This thing's dumb. I'm done. After school, oh, I pulled the tip. Oh, the tip is in my ear. Okay, it's fine. I got it out. These are the old. These are so old. These Dethonray tips. I don't even think they make these anymore. Take my word for it. Hey, you want to hear the click? I'm going to turn it off. This will be the first time I click it off because it's going to disconnect from that, and I was worried it was going to do that. So here we go, everyone. Quality click. Thank you to Linsoul for sending this out. Thank you, Dethonray, for actually fixing something with the firmware. Oh, if you put it in your pocket, make sure this side is out. I usually put things in my pocket with the buttons that way, like this. But covering the glass against your body lowers the range significantly. Not like it will shut off, but, you know, this is going to be better. Which kind of, like, I guess if it was lefty. I don't know. That's my only last little tidbit of advice. This thing's fantastic. Whoever buys it's going to buy it. You're going to have a $400 fucking... It sucks that you can't plug it in and use it as a USB DAC. Because then you could. Like, I might honestly go back and try to make a stand... I might 3D print a stand for this. That makes this just sit, like there. And becomes... The problem with this thing was, it was like, it got hot and you couldn't turn it off. Like, you turned it off and then it would disconnect and... POLO, like even these switches. have been improved in this. I'm a Dethonray fanboy. That fucking Prelude, that portable sucked. But the Pegasus, this is what I was dreaming about. This is a dream come true. And it's in purple, and it looks like the monolith. And it's a bit of a devil. It's a little bit of Satan in there. It's a little Satan in there, but when it's working, it's an unbeatable audio experience. Now that I'm done with this review, and I'm not gonna I'm not working when I use it. Now it's fun when I use it. I'm gonna put every motherfucking headphone on it. Every one of them. All of them. Anyway, wallpaper available. Links to this. Thank you to Hard Audio for sponsoring this video. Remember, from the 16th through the 30th of September 2021, 15% off using the code HAC for Hard Audio Cable 3, the number 3, YEAR. 3-year. Hack 3-year. Or 3 years. Oh, shit. It'll be in the description. You'll figure out what that is. Yeah, and don't forget the Z12s are now on sale in the gold edition, which you can get Hard Audio cables for that, and then you can run them on the Pegasus SG-1, which if you like Stargate, they like Stargate too, obviously. Patreon and subscribe star support this channel and my mad ravings and my 3D printer fetish. For $5 a month, you get to see these reviews early, participate in yard sales like I talked about earlier, listen to lossless sound demos, and for $10 a month, you get in the private behind-the-scenes Telegram chat where I've been complaining about this thing for 2 days, but also praising it for 2 days. So if you want to be in like a really confusing hype state, that place is great. There's 200 people. They'll all help you. I'll help you. Just at Zeospantera when you're in there. We're good to go. There's also a lifetime swap meet channel when you're in there. So if you do buy one of these and you have anything else, you can just sell that shit. Just sell it. Fucking game over, man. Game over. You bought this. So now... and yes, so you got the swap meet, do that, this. I'm gonna find a waifu that is deserving, maybe her, deserving of this, and then we're gonna go about our days, and I'm just gonna compare everything to this from now on. I got a channeling one over the Up 4, which has a 2.5 millimeter out in it. It's gonna lose. It's just gonna lose.